can't block, sooner or later, you're going to get replaced. If you can't tackle, sooner or later, you're going to get replaced. The sooner is what everybody always wants. The later is sometimes what you have to settle for. Good morning to you. Good Friday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Steelers presented by FanDuel. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into hockey and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Penguins and Pirates in the same place that you found this. As you're hearing this, it's very likely that I'm somewhere really high over the Atlantic Ocean on my way to Dublin, Ireland. You might have heard there's a little football game taking place there Sunday. And I'm sure that once I get there and rest a bit and recalibrate, I'm going to start absorbing a little bit more of the pageantry involved. For the moment, and for sure by the time the football flies at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, I'm all about what's a pretty pivotal game. And I say pivotal not in the sense that some use it like important. It's still week 4. I say pivotal as in it could contribute to the season pivoting in one direction or the other. It's a figurative fork in the road. Facing a good opponent, trying to get a bunch of things squared away on both sides of the ball. The bye week follows, then a couple of divisional teams. Pivotal. And it tends to require pivotal surroundings for this particular head coach to go ahead and make moves that look to the rest of us like they should be obvious, but won't necessarily process with him until he's certain. That's his personality. That's not new. Yesterday on the South Side, Terrell Austin acknowledged what, again, to a lot of us would have been, no duh, that Cole Holcomb is in need of playing more, that he's earned it, and that in turn, Peyton Wilson hasn't. Now, Austin didn't bring up Wilson, but as it related to Holcomb and getting some more reps in general, including in Foxborough, Austin said, and I quote directly, "It went good. I think Cole deserved it. He's worked his tail off to get back. He gives a different element. He's a downhill thumper. So it was good. We gave him an opportunity there. We'll see how it goes with each opponent. Each opponent's a little bit different, and I think that's going to determine his role. I think he's earned a role to try to help us win, and I think he did a good job of that last week." All right. Unspoken. Holcomb's going to take Wilson's job on the first 2 downs. That's going to begin Sunday. The Steelers saw, and I don't fault them for this, an opportunity to have Wilson become a true 3-down linebacker, combining his known coverage ability with what they hoped would become at least an acceptable level of run stopping. The second part never came. You've seen that. You don't need me to tell you that. None of us need to hear it from them. So this isn't one of those that I'm going to go after in hindsight for a couple of reasons. One, again, Wilson was worthy of getting that look. He might be worthy of that again in the future. 2, you just couldn't have known how healthy Holcomb was going to be. Sure, he could show up, pass every test, and he did. He did. There was never anything that held him back this summer. He wasn't slowed in any way. He wasn't held out, rested, limited. But there's a difference between the medical staff and athletic trainers telling you that and your mind's eye reminding you of how he got hurt and not being able to fathom how someone could come back from that and participate in the National Football League. But there he went, and he'd stay out there for 37 defensive snaps to Wilson's 35. And on the stat sheet, he'd come through with 7 solo tackles, an assist, and most notably a forced fumble on a diving effort from behind that required a whole lot of, knowing what the heck you're doing, which is still not what you get from Wilson. I've mentioned on this program, I don't mean to pick on him today. I swear, I think this kid is he's going to be okay. I really do. But I've been harping here for a while about the circuitous routes that he's been taking to running backs, about sometimes just standing there, trying to figure out what he's supposed to do, where he's supposed to be, who he's supposed to take. Holcomb just went out there and got after it. Now, in that same game, to keep all of this completely fair, Wilson had 5 solo tackles and 2 assists, so not all that different than Holcomb, but here too, this is where you got to start using your eyeballs. Wilson is incredibly fast. He has legitimately elite foot speed for an inside linebacker. So once he does decipher what it is that's taking place, he's going to get there. He's just going to get there from behind. You can picture this as I'm describing it. You see number 41 coming in from behind and bringing people down. This defense needs those stops to take place at, or heck, just as a bonus, behind the line of scrimmage. None of that's happening. None of that's happening. That's not entirely Wilson's fault, of course, but he is now officially the first one to pay a price for it. Which brings me back to my point. When a team starts slowly, whether that's results or just performance, there tends to be a fear that it's going to go on like that forever. It doesn't. And one of the reasons that it doesn't is a player who isn't doing well, who isn't doing his part, they're not going to stay. They're not going to keep doing the same thing. Caleb Johnson cost you big time with that rookie mistake. Well, he lost his job. So from now on, I don't know how much ceiling you'll have on kickoff returns, but your floor is going to be, we're not just going to let that ball sit there next time. When we come back, J1Q. Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George is a personal injury law firm in Western Pennsylvania that represents injured people in automobile accidents, workers' compensation cases, and medical malpractice claims. The attorneys at Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George pride themselves in doing what they say they're going to do. It's important to them that when they make you a promise, they keep that promise. And this law firm has been keeping promises for over 80 years. Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George has been AV rated. That's the highest rating a law firm can receive for legal ability and ethics. And the lawyers at the firm have been designated super lawyers, that's a real thing, for over 15 years. Rare combination there. Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George has offices in Cranberry, Newcastle, Beaver Falls, Butler, and Elwood City. Learn more about them at lgkg.com or by calling 888-842-5454. Again, that's 888-842-5454. Football season's finally here. Time to check out the latest odds, futures, and win totals on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Think the Steelers are headed to the Super Bowl? Lock in your bets today. Whatever your game, FanDuel Sportsbook delivers the latest lines, futures, and specials so you can join in on all the action. Hiring can be so time-consuming, sorting through tons of resumes, trying to get in touch with every potential candidate. Well, the future of hiring looks much brighter because ZipRecruiter's latest tools and features speed up finding the right people so you save valuable time. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/audio. Over 320,000 new resumes are added to ZipRecruiter monthly. If you see a candidate you're really interested in, you can unlock that contact instantly. Use ZipRecruiter and save time hiring. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And if you go to ZipRecruiter.com/audio right now, you can try it for free. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/audio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Hey guys, if you're planning to see a Steelers game, use the Game Time app to get your tickets. You can snag new ticket deals before anyone if you set it into your app alerts. The app is easy to use. No surprise fees at checkout. You can see your seat view before buying, and you're getting legit tickets delivered on time. If you're not much of a planner, you can get last-minute deals on tickets right up to the start of the event. Lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Download the Game Time app and enter the code DK Steelers into your app profile to get $20 off your first purchase. Today's J1Q comes from Pat, who asks, DK, you mentioned on the Thursday episode that through 3 games, the Steelers have 34 missed tackles. I know that Mike Tomlin and Terrell Austin put a lot of emphasis on splash plays and stripping the ball out. Could that many missed tackles be a byproduct of the players going for the splash instead of wrapping the ball carrier up? The answer that I have to that, Pat, is yes. Now, does that mean it's the wrong approach? Not necessarily. We're all in a great position, myself included, to be hypocritical about, hey, why are they trying to punch the ball out all the time? They'll do it sometimes at the end of long catches, long runs. You'll see them still trying to punch that ball out and not necessarily getting another paw on that ball carrier. And it can drive you a little bit nuts. But then what happens when they do poke it out? Right. And all of a sudden, we're all in favor of the approach. The Steelers had 5 official takeaways this past week in Foxborough. 4 of those were because the Steelers did something to make it happen. In fact, one could very, very, very casually argue that it's the only reason they won the game. Some of you might recall a conversation that I had with Deshaun Elliott back in minicamp. I played it on this show, in which he brought up with me that his extraordinary season that he had in 2024 from a tackle efficiency standpoint wasn't good enough in his own eyes because he didn't help the defense generate this splash. This surprised me, and I asked, is there any chance that this is going to cut down on all that efficiency? And he said, this is the way it's going to be. Now, Elliott, of course, hasn't played since early in the opener in East Rutherford. It's looking like he'll return Sunday, and he'll be needed for the tackling. Same with Cole Holcomb. Same with everybody. Been saying it for a month now, again and again and again. When you're talking about the Steelers' offense, you're talking about how they aren't blocking. When you're talking about the Steelers' defense, you're talking about how they aren't tackling. Blocking and tackling, blocking and tackling. The game has changed so much, my friends, over the years. Strategically, schematically, globally. There's a game this weekend on the other side of the planet, and it's now normal. The one thing that does not change is that it's still founded on blocking and tackling. Appreciate the question. Appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Steelers. Be sure to download our app, the DK Pittsburgh Sports app, into your device. After you do, email me directly, dk@dkpittsburghsports.com. I'll hook you up with a massive discount on the really, really good version of that app. dk@dkpittsburghsports.com. Next time you hear from me, it'll be from Dublin, Ireland.